Hey everyone, Danny Greco here, and I want to talk about a big bill that was just passed in the Washington State Senate. So this is going to apply for all Washington State homeowners. And what they've done is they've changed what's called the excise tax on the sale of a property. And if you don't know what the excise tax is, that's just synonymous with the sales tax. And if you're not aware, when you sell a property in the state of Washington, you pay a tax on that, excise tax, sales tax, whatever you want to call it. And that has historically been capped at 1.28%, and it's been a flat fee across the entire state. Now, municipalities will typically charge an additional tax on top of that. So for Snohomish, King, Pierce counties, they charge an additional 0.5% tax on the original tax. So ultimately that ends up working out to a 1.78% total excise tax. Well, this has all changed, and now they have voted to tier sale prices and the taxes associated with it. So now instead of just a flat 1.28% tax, that is going to be tiered depending on how expensive the home is. And for most Washington State homeowners, this is actually going to be a beneficial thing. You're going to pay less in taxes. So as it stands currently, and as through the end of the year, any home sold in the state of Washington is going to be subject to the same 1.28% sales tax, excise tax, plus any additional fees too. And for the purpose of keeping things consistent and simple, we're just going to refer to the flat excise tax as 1.28% and not include any additional municipality taxes. So come January 1st, any home that's sold for under $500,000, the sellers are now going to pay just a 1.1% tax. So you're saving about 0.18%. Not a huge thing, I get that, but a little bit is better. For any sale greater than 500,000 up to $1.5 million, so 500,000 to 1.5 million, that is effectively staying the same. That's going to be 1.28%, so no real change in that point. So again, unless you own a property that's over $1.5 million, there's not going to be much of any difference. And if there is a difference, it's probably going to be a beneficial one for you. So for 80% of Washington homeowners, this is going to be no change or a slight improvement when it comes to taxes and selling your home. Now, if you sell a property worth over $1.5 million, anywhere from 1.5 to 3 million, that rate is going to increase quite a bit. That's going to be 2.75%. So that's where you're going to see the biggest jump. And especially for us in Seattle, it's not too hard to find properties worth over 1.5 million. That's going to be a big jump. That's about a percentage jump in payments there. And then of course, if you've got a property over 3 million, now you're paying upwards of about 3% or so. What's important is once you cross that $500,000 threshold, the tax rates become tiered. So kind of much like your income taxes, the tax rate is not necessarily flat. So if you have $1 million property that you sell, you are going to be taxed 1.1% on the first $500,000, and after that, you're going to be taxed the additional whatever the difference is between 1.28 there. So you're much like your income taxes. You're taxed to a certain percentage up to a certain dollar amount, and from there it becomes different as well. That is the same reasoning behind this new excise tax here. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna make what was a very easy calculation a lot more complicated. So it's gonna be a little more work for us in that presentation with the seller before the home's on the market, while we're reviewing offers and that sort of thing too. But it's a very interesting piece. I'm not quite sure the motive behind it. At first I was kind of against it, but I really see that for 80% of the public, this really isn't going to make any difference, or if it will be a little beneficial. So be interesting to track how this progresses next year and beyond.